What's up, guys? Rick here with your preview for this week's Travelers Championship, a signature event right after a major. We can go back and forth on whether that's a good thing or not. I think it is. Well, that's a story for a different day. Speaking of different days, I'm traveling back to Florida for PGA Tour Live for the ESPN Bet stream this week. So I'm flying on Wednesday, which means the live chat for this week is going to be on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So just moving it up one day, still go through all your questions, your concerns, your comments, all that fun stuff as, you know, data driven as possible, but we're going to do it a day early so that I can travel on Wednesday. TPC River Highlands. Wow. Okay. We've got a lot to talk about here. This is a golf course that I played about 2 months ago for Media Day, maybe 6 weeks ago. I don't remember. Time is a flat circle. But this is a staple golf course on the PGA Tour. It is very short by professional golf standards. It is a accuracy over power type of course. If you look at I'm actually going to start down with the driving preference portion of the course key stats. This is my website, RickRunGood.com. And you'll notice the reward for hitting a long drive is much, much smaller than the penalty that you get for missing a fairway. That is why you see there are only 2 holes on this golf course, number 4 and number 9, in which an accurate drive, one out of the fairway, is not as good as a ball that is longer than average off the tee in terms of distance. So that means that all but 2 of the par 4s and par 5s are better data-wise, stat-wise, strokes gained-wise for accuracy. And that makes sense. You look at the past winners here. I mean, you just don't have to hit it very far off the tee. You have to position yourself, and then you hit a lot of short irons in, and then you try to make as many birdies as possible. If we look at the correlated stats to this week, and this is just taking every player's statistical profile for each year, comparing it to their results at every single golf course, and building types of golfers that are going to have success. Driving accuracy reigns supreme here. It has the highest rank. It's 13th, which means there's only 12 other courses in which driving accuracy is more important. The rest of them are about average stats, quite honestly. Driving distance, 42nd. That's a nothing burger. But the rest of them are pretty average stats, but driving accuracy is the one that reigns supreme. The other thing to note, so when you start looking at the secondary stats, you have final round scoring average. That's a noisy stat. Don't worry about that. Distance from edge of fairway. Okay. So that's a driving accuracy stat. That's when you miss. How far are you missing by? Right rough tendency, which is actually how infrequently you hit the right rough. So a lower number there is better. So if you have a right rough tendency of 10% and somebody else has one at 15%, you are ranked higher in right rough tendency because you're hitting the right rough less frequently. Approaches from 125 to 150. There's your proximity range. Current streak without a 3-putt, very, very noisy. And then consecutive greens and regulation, scoring average, approaches from 225 to 250, driving accuracy, fairway proximity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. So this is a key stats profile that screams accuracy off the tee, wedge play, proximity from the fairway, because you're kind of stacking up, hitting the fairway, and then how close can you hit it from the fairway. So yeah, it's that type of course. If you look at the last 36 rounds and overlay those stats, who are the guys that get the best adjusted fits? Well, Scottie Scheffler gets the best adjusted fit everywhere. Sepp Straka is 2. We're absolutely going to talk about Sepp Straka. Rory McIlroy is 3, and then Bud Cauley and Justin Thomas are 4 and 5. Yeah. We've got a lot of conversations to be had. Let's go over to the cheat sheet and start breaking this down via the salaries for this week. Scottie Scheffler holding that $13,300 price tag. Rory McIlroy 11.5, Xander Schauffele 10.8, and Colin Morikawa are 10.2. There's the only 4 golfers in the $10,000 range. I'm going to say this right off the bat. Most weeks after a major, there's always a question, will there be a major championship hangover? How are these guys going to continue to play well after what was a grueling week, et cetera, et cetera? And I normally discount all of that. I don't really care. There's not a lot of data that backs that up. If there was ever going to be a hangover, you'd think it would be this week. Not only is TPC River Highlands, very, very different than Oakmont in a lot of ways. But those guys looked like they were going 15 rounds with the heavyweight champ after every single day. Long, grueling, difficult rounds, exhausting rounds. The rain on Sunday extends all of that, makes it, I mean, if you've ever played in the, it's just wet, it's heavy, it's nasty. If there's ever going to be a hangover, I would think it is this week. I probably don't care as much for the top guy. Scotty Scheffler has proven that, yeah, he might start slow and then he can figure it out. But there might be some scenarios where I give a bump to guys who missed the cut last week, quite honestly. That might be a little bit of a benefit. Not a benefit, but like, not the end of the world. All right, let's start with the big four here. So we've got Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, Xander Schauffele, Colin Morikawa. Scotty is 13,300. It's again not the most expensive he's ever been. That was last week, but his record here, as you can imagine, in a lot of places is sublime. T13, T4, and a victory in the last 3 years. He's putted well. He's just been phenomenal from tee to green. What am I supposed to say about Scotty Scheffler? Right? I mean, every single start since the Genesis, which was in February, he's finished inside the top 20. He has gained at least 5 strokes from tee to green and often closer than to double digits. He is a very good putter despite 7 3-putts I think he had at Oakmont, which can jump up and get you. A couple really short misses, still finishes T7. Like, all you can eat, baby, right? In the famous words of Scotty Wynn, like all you can eat, baby. If you can get Scotty into your lineups, you get Scotty into your lineups. The Rory McIlroy stuff has been bizarre. Let's just, there's clearly something going on off the golf course. My hunch is that the man ascended the mountaintop, looked down, and his worldview changed, quite honestly. Something that he was pursuing for a decade has now been crossed off the list, and I think he doesn't know what to do with himself. Honestly, that's what I think it is. I think he just does not know what to do with himself. I think he's unmotivated, probably rightfully so, and it's showing up in his game. Outside of that, I do not like that he has lost strokes on approach in 4 consecutive starts. Truist, PGA Championship, the Canadian Open, and at Oakmont. He did play much better on Sunday. In fact, he had one of the rounds of the day at Oakmont on Sunday, but it was very much when he was out of contention. I kind of expect one of these performances, which if you're looking at this on YouTube with me, the 5 times that he has played here dating back to 2017, he doesn't play here every single year. He's put together some finish between T7 and T19. It's a signature event. He's guaranteed 4 rounds. He will figure out a way to get himself into the top 20. I'm probably not paying the premium for a golfer who's clearly struggling on and off the golf course when Scotty Scheffler exists. If Rory burns me, great. I'm happy to start rolling out Rory and getting him. The next time I'm probably going to seriously consider playing Rory is at Portrush, because if he cannot get up for a home game at the Open, we've got way more problems than anything else. So, Scotty's still the man here. Morikawa and Xander Schauffele rounding out the rest of this crew. If you've watched anything that I've done in the last 6 months, I'm quite bullish on Xander Schauffele, and I remain that way. There's nothing has changed. He did the vintage Xander thing where he gained strokes in all 4 major categories at the US Open, and he ended up finishing inside the top 15. It was a T12 finish. Starting to plug the holes, right? The slow start, the rib injury, the stat profile that was all red, and then it was like 3 parts red, and then it was 2 parts red, and then the last couple things that he needed to fixes the around the green play, fixes the approach play, fixes the driver, fixes the putter, and now I think we're off and running. He has won this event in the past. He's finished inside the top 20 in 4 straight. He's finished inside the top 20 in 5 out of 6. Not all of those were signature events, so some of them were full field events. He has destroyed the putting surfaces here at TPC River Highlands. I imagine that if we go to the Holy Grail and just do everybody at TPC River Highlands and sort this by strokes gained putting, I do wonder where Xander will be. Yeah, a stroke per round in 6 starts. It's the best. Mac Hughes is close, a little under a stroke per round in 5 starts. So I love that for Xander, going on familiar greens, being able to just build. I think that builds a lot of confidence in his game when he can start rolling in those putts. I'm super excited about that. And then, Colin unfortunately just gets edged out by Xander in this scenario because the record for Colin at TPC River Highlands has not been as good as you would expect it to be. His best finish is a T13, but he's missed the cut twice and finished T36. The putter is a huge problem. He lost 8 strokes putting at the US Open, which I don't even care. Like, Oakmont is crazy, right? The undulation in those greens makes Augusta National look like pitch and putt, right? But the putter's still a problem. He's lost strokes putting in 5 out of his last 8. Something weird going on there as well. But to me, this is very much a Scotty Xander. How much Scotty, how much Xander can we get into our lineups? And, my betting card would probably reflect that in some sense. Okay, the 9K range is really interesting. You've got Patrick Cantlay, who is an enigma and very difficult to figure out, has not had a good major championship season. Outside of that, the metrics are very, very good, but I need a break from Patrick Cantlay. If you want to play Patrick Cantlay, go for it. Ludwig, this is also bizarre. This just incredibly weird year that he has had continues. Played really well on Thursday at Oakmont. Did not play well on Friday. If you follow Swedish media, which you shouldn't, but I was able to tweet some stuff out and get some translations and stuff. Apparently dealing with migraines at Oakmont on Friday, really not feeling well. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that's chronic. I don't know if that's something that could rear its ugly head again. The ball striking numbers were great. The ball striking numbers have been great for 3 in a row. I would be quite excited to run out Ludwig this week, and I will probably, as the week goes on, convince myself of that. He's picked up 8.5 strokes from tee to green here last year. He picked up 4.5 the year before that. It's probably one of the few places he's going to play the 3rd time as a professional. I will find my way back to Ludwig here, whether that is a sucker play or not. Already in on Sepp Straka. I rarely make bets early on Monday because I've got, I'm doing the data updates. I'm doing all that stuff. I have already bet Sepp Straka. Right? So that's the one click that I've already made. This is the guy that I'm thinking about who did not have to play the weekend at Oakmont. His miscut was about as good of a miscut as you're ever going to ask for. Picked up 2.5 strokes from tee to green, lost 4 with the putter. He's a very, very good putter. Has won a signature event this year, has won 2 events this year, finished 3rd at the Memorial. If you go and look at the best players in the world in 2025, it's Scotty Scheffler, it's Rory McIlroy, it's Sepp Straka in that order. 1.42 strokes gained per round for Sepp. This is like, I'm in. 23rd here last year. He's played here a lot to mixed results. 3 out of his first 4 years, he missed the cut. But the year that he made the cut was a T10, and then the last 2 years have been better, 38th and 23rd. So yeah, I've already bet him. I don't think I need to say much more than that, but I think that he is going to be able to hit a lot of fairways, be able to hit a lot of greens, have that precision play that I'm looking for. Yeah, Sepp Straka is so far my favorite, and again, that will probably change as the week goes on. But I just love the odds, love the way this is setting up for him. Justin Thomas. I pride myself as being a Justin Thomas whisperer. I don't know if that's true or not, but I feel like it is. And there are very specific ways and places to deploy Justin Thomas. Most spots on the PGA Tour are not for him in the current state. This one, however, is. What did we like about him at Harbour Town? Well, it is a golf course in which you do not have to hit driver. In fact, I think I said something like, if I were Justin Thomas's caddy, I would take his driver this week and I would snap it over my knee and not let him hit driver anywhere. He did most of that. He hit driver in a couple places that I actually would not have liked him to. I think he did it on 9 a couple days. I didn't really like that, but it doesn't matter. And then you lean into the precision play, and that's where he thrives. Small greens, all that fun stuff. A lot of similarities here at TPC River Highlands. Even shorter of a golf course, right? They might be close. Play to a position, lean into your best strength, and hope to make enough putts. And that is what he's done here. He's got back-to-back top 10s here. Last year, he gained a stroke and a half putting. Before that, he had been hemorrhaging strokes on the putting surfaces. But he's always been a very good tee to green and a very good second shot player here. Again, if I am his caddy, I'm snapping driver over the knee, and we are playing positional golf. So I'm excited about getting back out on JT. We're always going to try to pick our spots with him, and I think this is a spot to pull it out. Burns and Hovland. So in the way that Sepp Straka gets the, I think what is the not the best boost for missing the cut, but like, you guys get what I'm saying here. I think these guys were in the heat of it for a little bit too long. They've got to somehow recalibrate. I will wait. I've been very high on Sam Burns. He probably should have won that golf tournament. Things happen. Victor is clearly finding a lot in his game right now. We're going to learn a lot about these two. I'm probably not going to have much exposure to them. If you want to get after it, have fun. It just won't be for me. That's okay. The 8K range is going to have a lot of my money. So we've got a couple of items. Let me just point out, Corey Connors withdrew before the fourth round of the U.S. Open. It was a wrist injury that he actually injured during play on Saturday. Got medical attention during the round, finished the round, did not tee it up on Sunday. Adam Stanley is basically the authority on the beat of the Canadian players. So if you follow him on Twitter, I imagine he's going to be at the Travelers and giving updates and stuff about Hughes and Connors and all that stuff. And this will probably be a big topic of conversation. So we're going to need to keep an eye on that. I'm probably not going to play Corey Connors. I'm a little bit worried about the wrist. And actually, I guess there is an outside chance that he WDs at some point before the week starts if he gets out there and he feels like he cannot play. If you wanted to be very different, I think you could play Tommy Fleetwood here. The miscut at the U.S. Open wasn't the end of the world, but it wasn't very good. That's his first miscut since last year's Open. So probably unlikely that he goes back-to-back miscuts. Very, very strong player, and he is priced in a sense that, like, you just play everybody else above him. Or before him, not necessarily above him, but like lower than him on the board. So I think he's going to come in pretty low owned. Leaves us with a couple of options here. So I want accurate ball striker, hot putter dudes. Russell Henley. Russell Henley finished T10 at the U.S. Open last week. Did you see a shot? You might not have, right? Just like, and in pure Russell Henley fashion, loses a stroke and a half off the tee. Absolute guaranteed fact he was going to lose a stroke at Oakmont off the tee. Then he goes +5 on approach, +3.5 around the green, +3.3 with the putter. Hell yeah. That's after the T5 at the Memorial, the T8 at Harbortown, positional golf course. He won at Bay Hill earlier this year. Yes. This is a great golf course for Russell Henley. He's missed one cut here in his career. That's the only time he's ever lost strokes from tee to green, and he has gained strokes on approach in every start. This is also a golf course where he routinely gains strokes off the tee, which there's not many of those because accuracy reigns supreme. Reigns supreme. Why do I keep saying that? You know what that comes from? What was that Food Channel show with the Iron Chef? They used to always say that. Like Iron Chef Morimoto. Which Iron Chef will reign supreme? Or something like that. I don't know why that is stuck in my head right now. Russell Henley, stuck in my head right now. Keegan Bradley. Let's go. T8 at the PGA, T7 at the Memorial, T33 at the US Open, where he lost 4 strokes on approach. That is the worst loss that he's had on approach in at least a year. I'm going to keep scrolling back and see the last time I can find like 4.5. Probably. Oh man, I might just have to do the sort. He's played a lot of rounds though. Okay. It's like the worst. It's like the 8th worst of his career. At least 2 years since we've seen something that bad. So I'm expecting a quick bounce back. You are going to get a fully engaged Keegan Bradley around TPC River Highlands. You are going to get a guy who's putted beautifully here the last 3 years, who has won one of those events, who's been a tee to green monster, who's played here like 18 times. You're going to get a fully, even if he is exhausted, Keegan will summon the energy for this week. Those two I'm pretty excited about, Henley and Keegan. Jordan Spieth. Boy. After he won here in 2017, it has been dismal, to say the least. He doesn't have a finish inside the top 40. He's hemorrhaged strokes off the tee, just struggled everywhere. I think he's playing the best golf that he has in probably 3 years. I'm interested to see what the industry does with Jordan Spieth. I'm probably in. If I'm a buyer, if you buy Jordan Spieth like I'm buying Jordan Spieth right now, I don't think courses matter that much. Yeah, maybe there are some good ones, maybe there are some bad ones, but I don't think courses matter that much. And I 100% believe he has the win equity here at $8,200. Shout out to my guy, Ben Griffin, who, how do we do this? So let's do power rankings, last 36. I just have it set up here. Last 36 rounds. It's a lot of rounds. Scotty Scheffler's number one. You know who number two is? Ben Griffin. Ben Griffin's been better than Rory McIlroy. He's been better than Sepp Straka. He's been better than Jordan Spieth and Sam Burns. All of those guys. Not only has he been better, he's been more consistent. He's gained strokes in all four categories 4 starts in a row. That's very rare. 2 of those were major championships. 1 was a signature event. And the 4th one, he won. This is about as amazing as a stat profile as I could show you. If this was attached to Rory McIlroy or Colin Morikawa or anybody like that, he'd be $12,000 and everybody would be foaming at the mouth, and rightfully so. But it's Ben Griffin. But Ben Griffin is like all-time confident right now. He is sniffing himself. He never gets tired. The guy plays more golf than anybody, plays better golf than a lot. And I just think this rolls on. Has he answered every single question? Ben Griffin has answered the bell every single time. He had this run at the Zurich. Well, you can't win by yourself. Boom. Charles Schwab. Well, you can't do it at a major championship. Boom. T8 at the PGA, T10 at the US Open. Well, you can't keep playing this long. Yeah, no, he can. All right? He's answered every question. Good on you, Ben Griffin. Have a week. The 7K range is not nearly as fun, but I do think there are some interesting options. Golf season has kicked off, and there's no better place to sweat the action than DraftKings Daily Fantasy, the ultimate destination for fantasy golf fans. Right now, DraftKings is giving new customers a chance to play free for their share of millions in prizes with their first deposit on the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app. It's simple to play. Build your dream lineup while staying under the salary cap, then sit back and watch as your players rack up points. Every birdie, every bogey, every clutch putt, feel the intensity of every shot. I think Taylor Pendrith at $7,900 is a really good buy option. So I think when he gets out there and it's like, oh, well, is it a long golf course where you can spray it everywhere? That's where he really thrives. But I actually think more of his skill set than that. I think when you get him in some wedge and putting contests, that is okay too. He's a very sound putter for as far as he hits it. When these guys play positional golf courses, they do it in a way where they get to just hit shorter clubs in than everybody else. His record around TPC River Highlands is quite small, a miscut in 2023 and a T23 in 2024, but playing really solid golf right now, had a great PGA, a great US Open, that stretch that we're talking about from the PGA Championship to the US Open, where it includes the Canadian Open and the Memorial as well. I've been quite impressed with the way that he's played. The tee to green numbers over the last 5 or 6 have been better than we've seen all year for him. And I just don't think a lot of people are going to be interested in Taylor Pendrith. So he's firmly a good buy for me. Download the DraftKings Daily Fantasy app and enter promo code RickDFS to play free for your share of millions with your first deposit. That's RickDFS for new DraftKings customers. Just download the Daily Fantasy app today. The crown is yours. JT Poston is a very streaky ball striker this year, a very streaky putter this year. The good news is I think this is a great golf course for him, right? Think about play out of the fairway, hit your wedges close, hit your approaches close, make as many putts as you can. His worst round last week was Sunday, but he actually gained strokes off the tee in each of the first 3 rounds at Oakmont, which is pretty crazy, and struggled on approach. He's now struggled on approach in 3 in a row, and 4 of his last 5, and 5 of his last 6 that have been measured. That is concerning. The putter's back, that's a really good sign, because that was the thing that he struggled with to start 2025. So I don't know what we're getting, but if there was ever going to be this kind of convergence of trends, like we saw at Harbour Town, where he wasn't even playing his best golf then, to finish T11, I think they kind of meet right now. Tom Kim made so many birdies last week, gained strokes in all 4 rounds at Oakmont. I am so far away from declaring Tom Kim back because that to me, even though it's a 33rd and it's actually not his best result of the year, actually it's his best result since Pebble Beach, which is a long time. I'm more optimistic about that week than I have been in a long time. I'm more optimistic in Tom Kim than I have been in a long time. And now he goes to a golf course that should really fit his game. 38th here 2 years ago, runner up here last year. So if you're willing to nibble and try to be early on Tom Kim, I believe it now is the time at $7,100. And then Jason Day plays great golf from Friday on. One of the better rounds we saw on Friday, gained strokes on Saturday and Sunday. I think he got out of town. Like, there were guys that definitely did not have to deal with as bad of like John Rahm posted early, Rory McIlroy posted early, and didn't have to play in the worst of it. I think Jason Day also fits that criteria. So like didn't have to take this to the end, didn't have to be in the nasty stuff. So outside of the PGA Championship, which is his only miscut in 2025, he's been a very strong tee to green player. He's been a very strong putter, which is back to his, back to his DNA. The results at TPC River Highlands were good from 2014 to 2021. The last 3 trips have not been as good. 44th, 45th, and a miscut where he's lost a bunch of strokes on approach, lost a bunch of strokes on in tee to green play. But again, it's been much better this year. So I'm happy to take a little bit of a flyer on J Day at a flat $7,000. The 6K range has some really strong options here. One, I'm still excited about Bud Cauley, who missed the cut at the US Open. But if you look at the power rankings here, last 36 rounds, Bud Cauley is the 23rd best player in this field, and he is $6,800. He's definitely cooled off since this run of the Players Championship to Valero, but it's not cooled off enough to get me off of him, considering the fact that, we're still getting the solid tee to green numbers here. Tom Hoge has been a, what do they call that? Not a misfit, like a hard luck loser as of late. The PGA Championship, he gained a stroke in 2 rounds and missed the cut. At Charles Schwab, he missed the cut by losing less than 1 stroke. So that's like missing it on the number or 1 shot off. Then he plays awesome at the Memorial. T7, really good stat profile that I would love to see from Tom Hoge. And then he gives us a pretty similar stat profile at Oakmont where he just doesn't putt as well, gains a stroke and a half, and misses the cut. So it's like, man, this could very easily have been 4 made cuts in a row, which would have extended his cut streak back to Phoenix. And if these missed cuts were even T40s with a T7 in there, I think we'd be a lot more optimistic. And who knows what he does on the weekend. This should be a good spot for him, right? Accuracy, precision, get hot with the putter. It's what he did here last year to finish T3. He's played here a lot. It's been a mixed bag. I see this profile looking like the finishing positions look way worse than the actual stats do. And then other than that, I think we just kind of run out Ryan Gerard and Sam Stevens as needed and until they're priced over $7,000. Gerard has continued to play great golf. The only miscut he's had was the Byron Nelson. Ball striking numbers are positive every single week. The putter is a problem, but that's the kind of guys that we are targeting. And then Sam Stevens has quietly put together 3 top 30 finishes in a row, pretty well-rounded. We're starting to see him drive it a little better. The putter's really strong. I want to see what his history here is. Played here 2 years ago, missed the cut, good tee to green numbers, picked up 2.2, lost 2.8 on the putting surfaces. So, if he hits it like that, give me 2.2 tee to green every 2 days, so 4.4, and then give me the way you've putted in the last 4 months, and you'll have yourself a time around the Travelers. Let's run a model and see what that has to say. So let's go back to the course key stats here. We need to do accuracy. We need to do 125 to 150. We probably need to do some type of approach. Okay. And we'll definitely do some course history here. So we're going to do last 10,036. How about 36? And we're going to do driving accuracy 25. We are going to do course history, TPC River Highlands, for 20. We are going to do short courses for 15. We're going to do approach play. I kind of want to do two things here. I want to do 125 to 150 for 10. But then I want to also do just like a strokes gained approach last 36 for 10. That leaves us with 20 remaining. I probably want to do some type of putting scenario. We could just do strokes gained putting. You definitely don't want approach putt performance, considering that these are small greens and that's not going to be... How many putts were there last week that were just so long? Okay, let's just do strokes gained putting last 24. All right, number one golfer is... Okay, this is really interesting now. Scotty Scheffler won by a mile. Corey Connors is 2, dealing with a wrist injury. So we will absolutely keep an eye on that. Okay, I'm going to click his favorite button so that I can remember. Fleetwood is 3. Yeah, I think it's a really good bounce back spot. Russell Henley is 4. Berger is 5. Tom Kim is 6. Burns is 7. JT is 8. Cantlay is 9. And yeah, I probably should have talked about Shane Lowry, $8,300. He is 10. Keegan Bradley's 12. That's pretty good. JT Post and Seb Straka, 16 and 17. Xander gets a knock for his driving accuracy. Interesting. Okay, well, we can talk more about this on Tuesday, which is when the live chat is going to be. But this is a fun event. It's a very well orchestrated event. There's going to be a great field there. It'll be really cool. So that's all I've got for you. I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. I will talk to you on Tuesday at the live chat.